Every brain on this planet does the same thing when it reads. Your eyes look at a page and the words just appear in your head. You don't feel it happening. You don't think about it. The meaning is just there. And then there's about 1 in 5 people whose brain doesn't do that at all. For most of human history, we called those people broken or slow. We labeled them learning disabled. We pulled them out of regular classes, gave them extra time on tests, and told them they had a problem to fix. Then somebody actually checked the data. 35% of all entrepreneurs in the US are dyslexic. A business school in London ran the numbers. 3.5 times the rate you'd expect. Richard Branson built Virgin. Dyslexic. Charles Schwab built the biggest brokerage on the planet. Dyslexic. John Chambers ran Cisco at its peak. Dyslexic. The British spy agency runs a public program to recruit dyslexics for code breaking. Pixar hires them by the dozen. Engineering teams at NASA are full of them. Either we've been wrong about dyslexia for 100 years, or the people we labeled broken are running on a brain that's better suited to the world we actually live in than the one schools were built for. The truth is closer to the second one, and once you understand why, you'll want to copy what their brain does by default. Let's start with what's actually different. When most people read, the left side of the brain handles it. Eyes see the word, brain knows the word, you move on, fast and automatic. Dyslexics don't have that automation. They use the right side instead, the side that handles pictures, the side that catches patterns, the side that sees the big picture all at once, so they read in pictures instead of words. It's not built for isolated facts. In school, that's a problem. In life, it's a weapon. There are 6 things the dyslexic brain does by default that the rest of us never learned. The first one sounds backwards. Most people read a book first page to last page. Chapter 1, then 2, then 3. Dyslexics can't do this. The details fall out before they reach chapter 4. So they do something most people would call cheating. They read the end first. The dyslexic brain refuses to hold a fact unless it knows where the fact lives in the bigger picture. It needs the frame before it hangs the painting. Here is how you can use this method. Pick up any non-fiction book. Don't open chapter 1. Read the table of contents. Read the conclusion, then flip back and read the introduction. Now you have the map. When you read chapter 3, you already know where it sits in the bigger story. The chapter has a place to live in your memory. I did a version of this in engineering school. Before every lecture, I'd open the textbook to the end of that day's chapter and read the question. Not the chapter, just the question. Then I'd walk into the lecture knowing exactly what mattered. The professor would talk for an hour, and most of my classmates were trying to write down everything. I was only listening for the parts that answered the 6 questions I'd already seen. Everything else was background noise. The questions at the end of a chapter aren't random. Whoever wrote the textbook put them there because those are the points you actually need to understand. Reading them first turns a lecture from a wall of information into a treasure hunt. You stop trying to absorb everything and start hunting for specific things. This is how dyslexic CEOs read a business book in 90 minutes and walk away with more than someone who spent a week on it. They don't read more, they read with the ending already in their head. There's a method later in this video that makes you remember a book for a year after you read it. We'll get there in a sec. Then there's the way they remember things. Try this. Sarah is 38. She's a dentist, she has twin boys, she owns a cat named Pickle. She drives a Subaru. She's been vegetarian for 10 years. Now this. You meet Sarah at a barbecue. She's a 38-year-old dentist with twin boys yelling in the yard behind her. While she's talking, her cat Pickle wanders out of her Subaru. You offer her a burger. She laughs and says she hasn't eaten meat in 10 years. You'll forget the first list by tonight. You'll still see Pickle wandering out of that Subaru next week. The dyslexic brain stores in scenes, not lists. Dyslexic doctors remember the patient, not the diagnosis. Dyslexic lawyers remember the case, not the law. They remember the person, not the name. Lists destroy them, so they turn everything into a scene. Here is exactly how to do it step by step. Take any concept you want to remember and ask 4 questions. Who's in it? What happens? Why does it happen? What changes by the end? Let's say you want to learn about compound interest. Here is how you would do it. A guy puts a snowball at the top of a hill. He pushes it. As it rolls, snow sticks to it. The bigger it gets, the more snow it picks up. By the time it hits the bottom, it's a boulder. That's compound interest. You'll never lose it. Don't write notes on the next idea you read. Write a scene, even a short, dumb one. Do that on the next book you read, and you'll remember it a year from now. Then there's the talking thing. Watch a dyslexic person learn something hard. They mumble. They read a sentence and say it back to themselves. They walk around the room talking to nobody. They explain things to their dog. This isn't a quirk. It's a workaround that became a superpower. Most people have a fast inner voice that handles their thinking. The dyslexic inner voice is slower and less reliable, so they push the thinking outside their head. When you read silently, your brain can fake understanding. The words go in, you nod, you move on. The moment you try to say it out loud, the fake stops. You hit the gap. You realize you don't know the part you thought you knew. Richard Feynman said it best: if you can't explain something simply, you don't understand it. He won a Nobel Prize. He learned by talking to himself. After every chapter, close the book. Pretend you're teaching it to a 12-year-old, out loud. Use a voice memo if it helps. If you stumble, you don't know that part. Open the book, read it, close it, try again. Walking shifts something in the brain. Pair walking with talking and you've turned a 30-minute walk into a study session that beats 2 hours at a desk. Knowing 6 moves isn't the same as using them. So I built a 1-page cheat sheet to help you actually take action on everything in this video, all on one printable. It's free. Links in the description. The next one is the most dyslexic of all 6. Most learning is one channel. You read. One sense, one input, one shot at the memory. The dyslexic brain can't trust reading, so it pulls in everything else. They draw it, they build it, they use their hands, they model it in space. There's a study where astrophysicists were looking for black holes in pictures full of stars and noise. The dyslexic ones spotted them faster than everyone else. The patterns were spread across the whole picture. Normal eyes locked on the center. Dyslexic eyes saw the whole field at once. This is also why so many architects, engineers, surgeons, and product designers are dyslexic. Their brain wants to handle information as a shape, not as a sentence. Every concept you want to keep gets a picture. Read it, then draw it. Boxes, arrows, stick figures. Make it ugly. Your brain doesn't care if it looks bad. It cares that you had to figure out how to put it on paper. The parts you can't draw are the parts you don't understand. Go back, read those parts, draw again. Even better, build it with your hands. Cut paper. Move things around on a table. Anything that takes the idea out of your head and into the world your hands can touch. This is how dyslexic engineers build mental models that people with PhDs can't keep up with. And here's the move almost nobody talks about. The dyslexic brain has weak filters. Most brains screen out information that seems unrelated to the task. The dyslexic brain doesn't screen as well, so it notices things other people miss. Stuff in the corner, stuff in the next field over, stuff that connects 2 ideas that don't seem to belong together. Show a dyslexic a drawing that looks normal at first, but breaks the laws of geometry if you look closely. They spot the broken part faster than everyone else. Their wide-angle attention is a feature. This is why intelligence agencies hunt dyslexics for code breaking. They want the brains that catch the thing nobody else catches. It's also the move that builds new businesses. Almost every new company is just an idea from one field applied to another. Airbnb took the spare room idea from couchsurfing and built a hotel-killing business out of it. Uber pulled the dispatch model out of limo companies and dropped it into regular cars. Netflix saw what Blockbuster did with rental stores and turned the whole experience into a streaming service. When you read something interesting, don't ask what it means in this book. Ask where else you've seen it. Say you read that people copy whatever the crowd around them is doing. That's the idea. Now hunt it. You've seen it in a restaurant. The empty one next to the packed one stays empty all night, even if the food is better. You've seen it on your phone. A video with 2 million views feels worth watching. The same video with 200 views feels like a waste of time. You've seen it in yourself. You laugh harder at a joke when other people are laughing. Same idea. 3 places. Now it's yours. 3 is the magic number. 1 example is a coincidence. 2 is a pattern. 3 is a law. Once you've found 3, you'll start spotting it everywhere for the rest of your life. This is the move that turns reading into thinking, and thinking into building. The last move is the one doing the heavy lifting under the other 5. A dyslexic kid spends 12 years in a school where the standard way of learning doesn't work. 12 years. Reading is hard. Memorizing is brutal. Tests are punishment. Every classroom is built for a brain that's not theirs. So what do? They invent workarounds. Every single day. For 12 years. They figure out how to remember a name without reading it, how to pass a test without rereading the chapter, how to write a paper when the words don't come out right, how to keep up when their reading speed is half the room's. By the time they leave school, they've been running shortcut experiments every day for over a decade. Most of those experiments failed. Some worked. The ones that worked got reused. The ones that worked everywhere got internalized. By age 18, the average dyslexic is a shortcut finding machine. The rest of us never had that training. The default worked for us. We took the highway. We never had to find the side road. That's why dyslexics build companies. That's why they end up running creative teams. That's why spy agencies recruit them. They've spent more hours finding workarounds than most people have spent doing their actual job. You can become a shortcut finding machine too. You just have to do what dyslexics were forced to do. Stop using the default. Try the weird path on purpose. Every time you sit down to learn something, ask one question. What's the lazy version of this? Not lazy as in less. Lazy as in shorter, sharper, faster. The first lazy version will be bad, the 10th one will be good, The 100th one will be unfair. Look, the point of all this isn't that dyslexics are smarter. The point is that they were locked out of the lazy way. They couldn't reread their way to understanding. Lists didn't stick. Passive absorption never worked for them. So their brain built a different toolkit. And that toolkit, by accident, is the one that actually works in a world where information is infinite and attention is the bottleneck. Here's the whole thing in one paragraph that you can apply today. Pick up a book. Read the table of contents. Read the conclusion. Read the introduction. Now, read the chapters. After each chapter, close the book. Tell yourself the scene of what just happened. Out loud. Walk while you say it. Draw it on a page when you sit back down. Ask where else this idea shows up and find 3 connections. Then ask what the lazy version would look like next time. 3 days later, tell yourself the scene again. 7 days later, do it again. Don't try to do all 6. Pick the one that sounds least painful and start there. Most people will pick the scene technique. That's a good place to start. But all 6 techniques assume one thing your brain might not have: the ability to lock onto a topic long enough to actually learn them. Most people don't. Their brain wanders the second things get boring. Dyslexics didn't have a choice. Their brain forced the issue. People with ADHD live under a similar rule, but through a different lever. They can't learn what bores them. But what fascinates them, they absorb at terrifying speed. Their attention runs on interest, not willpower. I broke down how their brain does this in this video. Watch it next.